Welcome, guys, to our Sports Friends, the live Sports Friends show. I'm sorry about the late start. Some of our analysts are running late. Some of our analysts. Welcome to our Sports Friends show. Brought to you by Let's Care Medical, and that's location in Mandeville, Shop 5, Juicy Plaza, Mandeville, also in Montego Bay and Santa Cruz. And we are supposed to have some of our guests, our usual analysts, join us live for the show, but they are running a bit late, and I think I know why. Because few of them said Saudi Arabia did not stand a chance, right, in that match against Argentina, nor within the group. So they had a bet with Shaky Shakes. So they're running very scared tonight, and hence why I'm alone so far. But just to update on our games today, we had an early game at 5 a.m. this morning where we have Argentina playing against Saudi Arabia. That game was at 5 a.m. And I know that most of you guys did not um, wake up this morning. Perhaps most of you guys not wake up this morning, but I did. I wake up after 4 this morning just to watch that game. And I was very, very shocked because I had predicted Argentina to win 6-0, right? So I was very, very shocked by that. But they end up losing that game 2-1 to Saudi Arabia, which is said by some to be the biggest World Cup shock in the history of the tournament, right? I think that one, along with the England beating, losing to the USA in 1950, might go down as the biggest shock in World Cup tournaments. So this is said to be one of the biggest shocks. So some of the guys are running away from the fact that Saudi Arabia beat Argentina 2-1, and they did not expect that match to win that way. But I'm here, guys. We're supposed to soon be joined by Mr. Arsenal Ham himself. Our 8 a.m. game saw Denmark, one of the dark horses, playing against Tunisia, and that game ended in a nil-nil draw. And then our 11 a.m. game saw our CONCACAF neighbors, Mexico, playing um, against Poland. That game also ended in a nil-nil draw with Lewandowski missing a penalty. That was a very exciting game, nil-nil game. Just like the Denmark, Tunisia. Some people thought those games probably weren't exciting, but to me, watching both of them, I think they were exciting. The chances, they were just not clinical, but they created a lot of chances. And then our last game of the day was at 2 p.m., where the French team run out 4-1 victors over Australia. And that game did had a lot of the French fans very worried um, when Australia took the lead earlier on in the first half and went up 1-0. But France, proving their pedigree, their World Cup pedigree, as well as the fact that they have a very talented and deep squad despite the many injuries, came out 4-1 victors and looking really, really good to defending their title they won in 2018 in Russia, right? So Mbappe just a very, very, very great player, right? It's like he's the one that makes France ticking. So big up to you guys, or commenters. We in a comment chat we have Kevin Bernard. He's saying that Argentina losing a match is not a problem. Losing to Saudi Arabia is a problem. Mexico and Poland not going play ease up, and if one of them put up a decent fight, could be goodbye Argentina. I think Argentina, if Argentina lose their next game to one of those teams, then it will be goodbye, right? So that's the position that they're in. They're in a very precarious position where losing that next game basically resulted them exiting the tournament, and those two teams were actually said to be tougher teams than Saudi Arabia. And big up Kish. Who is saying also good night, and know that Kish suffered a loss with Casey earlier on, right? So big up Kish. Even though that you're a Brazilian fan, so I do hope that Brazil would actually make you feel much better. Big up the man Shaky Shakes, the sponsor behind our program, and the owner of Let's Care Medical, and he had some very some bets with some of our analysts that Saudi Arabia would create an upset as well as Saudi Arabia go through the group. So big call shakes. We have Jermaine Watson in our chat as well, Pepe Paul, Michelle, Jason Curlew as well. So big up guys. Welcome to our show, Demo. Wagwan boss.
Yes, sir. Good night, everybody in the comment section. Awesome day of football, both a
Very,
yard
very
and
awesome.
abroad. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, it's just so many games to take in today. I wish we had a lot of time to do that. But start off with our first game, Demo. Argentina losing 2-1 to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, oh, I mean, I can start off with the second half because I definitely wasn't getting up at 5 a.m. to watch no football, and it's not Spain, boss. If I know Spain or Liverpool or play, I mean, I wasn't going. So I missed the first half of the game. I caught the second half, and trust me, the Saudi Arabia team, they were so aggressive. In their tackles, they were fighting tooth and nail to win the ball back. And listen, when they needed the quality, they got the quality. Argentina, they huffed and they puffed, and you know, I mean, people are blaming Messi. I don't. I don't know. Like everything comes down to Messi whenever
Yeah,
Argentina
even he
does
plays
well.
good and they lost, they blame
Like
him.
when I get it, you know what I mean?
When
When
they
the
get to play
defender
that,
them sell out the game. When name Romario
Yeah,
from
Romero.
Spurs.
And
Horrible defending.
I'll be defending. I'll be saying to Argentine fans from weeks ago, especially a lot of those of explosion that Argentina need to start Martinez.
Yeah, because he's in great form, and
He's
don't get me
very
wrong. I
great
mean,
form, and he's one of their better defenders.
yeah, and the thing is, like, it's horrible defending that cost the guys the game. And I mean, people are gonna point out Messi. I mean, you're the superstar, yeah, sure, but he scored in the game. He was playing well, and then the defenders them just sell out the thing. I mean, he did get a free kick that he's been scoring regularly. Not It's not automatic from there or whatever. But he scores them regularly, and he sent it in the crowd. So you'd probably expect a little bit better from Messi there. But to 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 blame everything on Messi is just ridiculous. And as soon as Argentina lost, I knew that was going to be what was going to happen. But in truth and in fact, Saudi Arabia, they deserved the win. They really played well, and they were aggressive from the get go. So well, from when I started to watch. So big up to them, and a massive shock. It leaves the group pretty much wide open because of what happened in the next game in the group. So Argentina are really out and out because the draw happened. So they're pretty much just 1 point behind Poland and Mexico. So they're not really out of it yet. So big up to Saudi Arabia. They put themselves in a great position. And look, they have a public holiday. So
Yeah, they have a public holiday, so you know that because they have made history. It will
yeah,
probably go down as the biggest shock ever in World Cup.
definitely.
And
Definitely.
yes, guys, I'm gonna play the Shakes video.
I don't know what kind of drugs that man over there taking, but Saudi Arabia have absolutely no chance. Zero chance to qualify. Zero. Like, listen, I don't know if I think say a domino or back up and catch, like, no chance. Listen, and again, Poland in competitions, I am not putting my money on Poland. No Euro, no World Cup. Lewandowski.
So that was Kim's and Shakes debating some months ago. Kim's, who's known as the voice on the program, was saying that Saudi Arabia have zero chance.
Hold on, you know what I always say? Don't beat me for my prediction. Like your prediction can go wrong. Beat me for my analysis. Boy, Kims, listen, you don't need for sure the face. I mean, that,
Yeah,
that was
they're
rough.
hiding because Ryan, I'm gonna play the one with Ryan. Ryan said he's on the road in Ochi, right? But I know that they're hiding from Shakes.
The man
They're
so wrong
hiding
and
Shakes.
strong,
They're
boy.
hiding. Both of them are hiding out the fact that they make those bold statements some months ago when the job.
Wrong and strong, you call it,
Yeah, they
brother.
were wrong and strong. Repeat that
So,
one.
Saudi Arabia, we're not even say them, not even know say that. But for me, Argentina, then Mexico. This man come tell him about Saudi Arabia. Imagine, my Ecuador pick and him say it's rubbish. But he want to come here and make a Saudi Arabia pick. Tell me this man is insane, brother. Like, yo.
I didn't say anything about Ecuador, sir.
Yes, you said it's rubbish.
The only thing, no. The only thing I said about Group A, sir, was that the fact that you did not have Netherlands to go through. That was rubbish. That's what I said.
But you have Saudi Arabia to go through and you're just going out on a limb. It's not rubbish, but you're just go out on a limb.
Sir, I said second place.
You have them to go through to our next round. This is Saudi Arabia we're talking about. Yeah. Like Saudi Arabia, brother. Yeah. Like that could be serious.
Like Levan, I would pay extra. Shades and you would be in a podcast.
Bro, hold on. How long ago was this?
This was when the World Cup draw was made. Kems was big, and Kems along with Ryan. Ryan said that he don't even see Saudi Arabia in the group, right? So he was trying to
Listen.
at how horrible Saudi Arabia was that he don't even see Saudi Arabia name in the group. So he's not even looking at them, right? And now both of them are hiding out shakes with that bold call that Saudi Arabia would go through behind Argentina within the group.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, they might not win another game in the group.
Yeah,
so
they might not win another game. Joining us is Mr. Ham himself. Mr. Ham, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Josh.
Early game this morning.
Very, very interesting game, Josh. And I realized that you had posted right as the game started about the high line that the Saudis had employed, and it worked a treat.
It worked because I was trolling them earlier on.
At first glance, it seemed like they were naive, but there was method to their madness, and it was a well-executed plan. They played the high line, they were disciplined, they pressed relentlessly, and they were just fitter, they were just stronger, they were just faster than the Argentinians. They were quicker to every loose ball. And you got the feeling, guys, that that the longer the game went on, you just couldn't see Argentina for all the position. You couldn't see them creating and taking two chances to ultimately win the game. So late on, they were just throwing everything at the Saudis. But outside of the one that was cleared off the line, the other chances were easily nullified. So I think they were deserving of their victory. And just a side note, guys, Al-Nassari, he has long been touted by even Bafétimbi Gomis, his former teammate, as arguably the best player in Asia. I remember that son plays there, and this is not after the event, but just to show that these players have talent. Sometimes they are naive in terms of how they go about executing their plans. And just special kudos to the manager, Renard, building up quite the track record. He has a unique record, guys. Won the African Cup of Nations with Zambia, won it with Ivory Coast. Nonetheless, when you figure Ivory Coast wasn't as good as in previous editions with people like Drogba and Prime Yaya Touré, they won it in 2015, when you would have figured that this was probably the weakest Ivory Coast in a generation. And he was the manager of Morocco. And we gave them plaudits on the show a few times as to how well they played last time out in a tough group and without a recognized goal scorer. I think they covered themselves in glory as well. So I think special kudos to Renard and obviously to all the players who played for Saudi Arabia today. They defeated the South American champions who just did not look up to it, guys. They looked slow, they looked leggy, they just looked devoid of ideas. And the changes that were executed in the starting lineup, some of them raised eyebrows. Romero in instead of Martinez. Romero has been dogged with injuries. Martinez has been playing very well. Papu Gomez, brilliant little player, but also carrying a few injuries for Sevilla. And in midfield, Paredes has been in and out of the Juventus lineup because of injuries as well. So I think Scaloni has his work cut out because I think he needs to effect changes for the next game.
Yes, and I'm glad that you mentioned the coach. I mean, because that point that you mentioned, right? I was reading some of the ESPN comments today, and I was seeing a lot of the Africans said they did not state why, but they say all of us from Africa know about that guy. That they were talking about the coach.
Bernard.
Yeah, Bernard. They were trying to
Oh,
say
Bernard.
we know him in Africa, right? And I was wondering why they were saying that, right? And then I said I'm going to do a research as to why they were saying they
Mm-hmm.
know him well in Africa, but I forgot to do the research. But when you mentioned that he won 2 Cup of Nations, I see
Yeah,
why they were actually saying
the
such.
first to do it with two different countries. And just a bit, I think probably the stars were aligned with Zambia winning that African Cup of Nations title against all the odds, and they won it basically a stone's throw away from where they had a tragic uh, plane accident in 1993, if I'm certainly right, where they lost all the passengers, and that was considered to be their golden generation, such because they defeated Italy, nonetheless, at the Olympics in 88, 4-0, and they had finished third in the 1990 edition of the AFCON. So it's a case where Renard he has paid his dues. He was manager at Sochaux, manager at Lille. Didn't work out for him on the club scene, but in Africa he is seen almost like royalty, and I think his stock would have risen even further in the Arab world. And it almost seemed today like it was a home game, guys. I got that
Yeah,
feeling. The crowd was behind Saudi
sorry.
Arabia,
Yeah.
and they were just up for it. And you saw even in the second game, Tunisia was also almost like a home game for them, and they made it hostile and difficult for Denmark, just like how Saudi Arabia had made it difficult for Argentina in the first game.
And do you think that's the best tactical approach by a coach in the tournament thus far? It seems to
Uh,
be that way in terms of
well,
the game plan.
well, when you look at when you look at the results and you look at the passage of play, I think it was flawless. They
Yeah,
played within their
flawless.
and you figured, and I did say it last night that yes, we know that they have flattered to deceive when they come to the tournaments, and persons were speaking of the 8-0 that they got in 2002 at the hands of Germany. They lost 5-0 to Russia last time out, but the thing about it is that they had done very well in qualifying, and in Al Dasari and Al Shahiri, they have two potent goal scorers, people who know how to find the back of the net. And remember, they had 2 shots on target, and they they converted both, and they were worth their victory.
And Demo, right? A lot of persons were saying the Argentine should have bring Alejandro Garnacho, right? For especially for a super sub, given that
A lot of
the
Manchester
Maria
United play.
is
A lot
aging.
of Manchester United
I
fans
mean,
say
a
that.
lot of
Don't
Manchester United fans, right? And you do have few Argentine fans that are saying, especially given the Maria age at around 35, thereabouts, right?
you?
Do you agree with that?
No,
That
like
it might
Garnacho
turn out in
would
the
not.
game.
Garnacho would not have. This Garnacho isn't the reason why they lost that game today. They had enough talent there.
Yes,
As old as Di Maria is, it didn't really matter. Their midfield was just very bad. And like we mentioned earlier, the players who they started, it was just ridiculous. They lost that game because of horrible defending, not Garnacho. Like
So what about the butcher himself,
yeah, he should have
Martinez?
started the game easily. Decisions like that, you talk about. Don't talk about what 19-year-old brother. He didn't have enough to do it why they lost the game. He's not there. The players that were there were capable enough to get them goals. I mean, it obviously didn't work out, and Messi got the penalty, but the players that were there are capable to get goals.
Right, I agree with Martinez. That he probably should have started over
Yeah,
probably
he should
Otto.
have started the game. That's easy to say.
All right. So that's a 2-1 defeat for Argentina. On to our next game. Denmark versus Tunisia. Very I think it was an exciting game. Could have went either way. I was very surprised that Tunisia came out that attacking. Yeah, it was I think they even caught the Danish by surprise as well. I don't think Denmark was expecting Tunisia to approach the game that way. But what do you think of that game?
yep, it was almost like a chess match. Tunisia, they were aggressive. They were in your face. That first challenge, um, along the sideline. People in Jamaica will remember. Football aficionados will remember. In 2005, they touted Glenmuir outfit played against Godfrey Stewart in that Dakar Cup final, and Cornel Learman, the most feared striker in schoolboy football at the time.
Right. One of my
But
favorite strikers.
he got the ball and halfway dismissed two midfielders and was breaking towards the Godfrey Stewart penalty area. And there comes Dwayne Williams, the captain of Godfrey Stewart, with a crunching tackle and things like that. Sometimes, guys, just tips the balance because the other players feed off it, and just like that, all the players were G'd up and they were aggressive. The Danes just look sluggish as well, and their issue, and we have spoken about this on the show a couple of times, is that while they're solid right throughout, they sometimes can be dull in attack, and
That's right.
they didn't create much. They have no big names up front, but they are the quintessential team, and some of the changes were strange to me. I figured that someone like Lindstrom really should have had more of a say. I think Damsgaard came on and affected the play. Was trying to make passes through the lines, but I think that will be their issue going forward. The fact that they lack cutting edge, and in games of this nature where they're so closely fought, you need someone with that with that X factor in attack. And when you look through that squad, it's a solid squad. It's a squad on the rise. They are difficult to beat, but they sometimes are devoid of ideas. And I think Cornelius will be scratching his head. I don't know how he missed. I think that's the miss at the at the World Cup, when he managed to head onto
Yeah.
the basically on the goal line. It was a guilt-edged chance, and I think that's why his career in Europe has basically stagnated, and some people say regress. When you look at the options that they have quickly to replace Cornelius, because he came in for Dahlberg, which wasn't much of a change. You have Brathwaite, who doesn't necessarily inspire confidence. I think Paulson would have been the first option, but Paulson has been plagued with injuries over the last 18 months and doesn't seem to be at the top of his game right now. So it should be interesting to see who they go with, or they may go with Wind, who is seen as the next big thing, playing for Wolfsburg. Did very well, and then was transferred to Wolfsburg, slowly finding his feet in the Bundesliga. But I think he may be another option that they may insert. It's strange that they didn't go with the hotshot Hodgman, Hodgland, who is referred to as the Danish version of Holland. He is 19 years old at Atalanta, has explosive pace. I would say some people are referring to him as the poor man's version of Erling Haaland. But I think that's doing him a disservice. But I think he could have been brought because he would have added something. And just a quick backtrack, Josh, read that Garnacho question. Not
Yeah.
necessarily Garnacho, but I think, and Levon and I spoke about this quite a few times, that when you look at the Argentinian team, even at the best at times, you figure that they can be one piece in attack because they don't really have that searing pace anymore. And then when you looked at someone like Joaquin Correa, who could have provided an option, he had to pull out of the squad because of injury. And the players that they have to come in aren't necessarily blessed with blistering pace. So that's exactly why Saudi Arabia felt comfortable enough to play with such a high line, because they knew that Argentina did not necessarily have players who, if they timed the run properly, were going to outrun their Saudi opponents.
And as I mentioned that Danish early in Ireland, I realized that the Scandinavian countries, because of the resources, they're really turning out pumping resources into their academies
Yep.
and turning out some very good players, especially nowadays currently. So
Because Rasmus Holland, he is 19 and he's on the books at Atalanta. Atalanta has been doing very well bringing young talents through. So I think his time will come. This tournament may have come a year or two early for him, but when you look at the options in attack to replace Dahlberg, you aren't necessarily filled with confidence.
all right, Demo, what you made of that Denmark
Yeah,
Tunisia game?
yeah. I mean, it was a pretty even game. I thought that Denmark were a bit lackluster. It's telling that they need a number nine. I don't know. I mean, the best shot of the day, well, the best save of the day came from Schmeichel actually. But I mean, I don't know if it would have been called back for offside, but I think he made the save of the day. I mean, I know Ericsson had a shot that the Tunisia keeper had to save as well, but that shot from close up that Schmeichel saved with like a palm or something, that was basically the chance of the day, and Tunisia had it. But from the minute the game started. I don't know what that player name is, but him have a beard and him head shine. Like he was up for the game and he was riling up the crowd as soon as the game started, minute 2, 3, something like that.
Yeah.
And
I know
everybody
what you're
was just
pronouncing,
on
but
it.
the name's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm not going to try. I'm sure Rowan knows. I'm not going to try and pronounce the names. But from that guy started, you could tell that the whole team and the whole crowd got behind him, and they were the ones who were forcing the pace pretty much. Um, I think that it was I mean, I think the draw was deserved at the end of the day. I didn't think anybody deserved to win. And yeah, it's a good point more for Tunisia than the so-called dark horses who are Denmark.
Or
Not a
Denmark.
great start for them, but I mean Tunisia would have appreciated that point.
And sticking with you, Demo, the Mexico Poland game at 11. What do you make of that? And
Yeah,
Lewandowski
and
missed
and
penalty.
listen, I don't know what it is when it comes to World Cup and Mexico, boss. Like they just find
Yeah,
like a renewed energy and renewed pace, and they just look completely different in World Cup. And not to mention Ochoa. I know Arsenal have a good top ball all of that. But boss, I don't know what club that man play for. You know. That man just seems to just come out win a World Cup, and that's how me know the goalkeeper. Because I don't know what club he plays for. I remember way back when he was actually on the cover of FIFA one at the time. I mean, like, listen, I know him from Mexico playing at the World Cup. But it seems like whenever it comes to the World Cup, these guys are just always up for it. They were pressing and they were just giving everything to Poland. And I mean, Poland. I often said that it's Lewandowski and anything. Um, I mean, I think that it was end-to-end stuff at one point, and I thought Mexico just looked like they were the better team, like in a sense. Like they were just playing a lot more freer for me, and they seem to be a team that's cohesive and know what they want to do, you know what I mean? And in the end, the penalty was done to Lewandowski. And up steps Ochoa. I mean, I don't know if the rules changed FIFA because I'm sure he wasn't on his line when he made the save. Look back on it, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sure when he made the save, his both feet weren't on the line at the time. But it was a massive save. Lewandowski normally do a little hop skip some of the times. He didn't even do it. I'm not sure if it's the pressure of not scoring in the World Cup before. And it would have been his first World Cup goal, but I expected so much better. I thought he was going to score. And he didn't. So disappointing for Poland, but I didn't think that Poland deserved to win the game. So for me, justice was served. And yeah, Mexico look like a good team. Like they play as a team. So
and
that
I
was
agree
so
with you, Dima, because from ever since I've been watching World Cup, right? Mexico would look bad through qualifiers and still make it, even if they come third or fourth in CONCACAF. They will also look at times bad within Gold Cup, but whenever they reach World Cup, right? It's like they
exactly,
have a renewed energy. That is why a lot of persons
exactly.
always say that they are not counting them out, right? Even though they did not play
Yeah.
well during CONCACAF
Mm-hmm.
qualifiers, because they weren't playing well, and
Exactly.
even though they made it.
Exactly.
But you're wondering where they find that renewed energy again. It's like it happens every World Cup. Every single
Mm-hmm.
World Cup happens. I think that a lot of persons weren't surprised by it because many persons
Mm.
actually predicted that they would have approached the World Cup with that sort of energy that we don't
Yeah.
see with them throughout qualifiers. Mr. What you mean of that match?
I totally agree with Dimo's summary. Uh, Mexico was the protagonist, and they looked the most likely, well, the more likely of the two to get the go ahead goal. Ochoa continues to defy age 36. Now on the books for America, long removed from his days when he used to play in Europe. but still very, very capable and seems to have been around from ever since. And the thing about it is that he came after Osvaldo Sanchez, who was regarded as Mexico's greatest ever goalkeeper. Yeah, we know about Campos, but Campos was flashy, but he was
You hear me,
undersized.
Sam? Come
Go
on.
on, man.
Yeah, me I hear you, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I was saying, so he had big gloves to fill initially, and he has done very, very well. Does the business every 4 years, as you were rightfully alluded to. And when you looked at how Poland set up, guys, and we spoke about this, I figured that Lewandowski and Milik or Piatek or somebody should have been playing closer to him. And that continued use of Koviak defies logic because he's 35 going 36, has fallen off, no longer plays in a Europe's top five leagues. It's a player who was on the books of Sevilla, was at PSG, but no longer has the legs in midfield. We saw where Guardado, the regular captain for Mexico, didn't meet the starting lineup, and Mexico was vibrant. Lozano was electric. They gave Poland all that they could handle, and I think on the balance of play, the fact that they were offering so much in terms of the regular passage of play, I think it would have been really disheartening for them to have lost. So I think a nil all is not what they would have wanted because they dominated the game, but the fact that they were faced with a penalty, I think they will be heartened by it, and I think they will fancy themselves against Argentina, especially the way how Argentina played, and also Saudi Arabia. So I think they still have their destiny firmly in their hands.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. And sticking it to you, your team now at 2 p.m., right? They went behind, and I show that might have a lot of French fans worried, but their quality came out in the end convincingly. What you made of that France 4-1 victory over Australia?
Yes, as I said, when when they conceded early doors, you figure that oh, here we go again.
Here go again, defending champions probably crashing out in
This
Group
time,
C.
Argentina has lost. France is going to go and do the same. Uh,
Yeah,
the thing about it, that the players didn't get flustered, and they have enough quality. I spoke about this that yes, they are missing key players, and these players are obviously going to be missed because such is their quality. But that's one of the things. That's why France entered this World Cup with such a huge billing. The fact that they had such a huge resource in terms of quality of players, because to lose players of that ilk and then to be able to put out such a good starting 11 speaks wonders, because the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, Karim Benzema, went down, and Oliver Giroud stepped up. Usually plays very well when paired with Mbappe. Doesn't always score, but he affects the way how they play in a very, very positive way. Ousmane Dembele, spoke about him. I think he is the X factor. He didn't see much of the ball because, as I expected, France would have attacked more down the left as opposed to the right. But when he did get the ball, he had the beating of the Australian fullback all day, and so is his ambidexterity, where he's able to go both ways. So it's hard to contain. He can beat you with just sheer pace, or he can beat you with clever footwork. And the thing about it is that he is able to deliver threatening service into the box. And the figure that France, once they didn't get flustered, they had the wherewithal to arrest the slide. And 4-1 could have been far worse for the
yeah.
soccer,
I mean,
who were
far.
they were plucky, but the golfing quality was quite obvious. And I think France, yes, it's only Australia, but I think they laid down a small marker in relation to Denmark, because Denmark has been their bogey team for quite some time. Put them out of the 2002 World Cup when France needed a lot of results to go their way. Beat them 2 times in this calendar year, with basically these crop of players on both sides. Some of them are missing obviously through injury, but I think they will be very, very confident. And I think the fact that when you can lose a player like Lucas Hernandez and replace him with his younger brother Theo, it speaks
Yeah,
to
speaks
the
to man.
quality of players. When you look at a Saliba, who many were touting to start, and then Konate and Upamecano, who have that chemistry because they played for quite some time. Yes, they're still young players, but they played for quite some time at Leipzig before making their moves to Bayern Munich and then to Liverpool in the case of Konate. But they have so much going forward. So I think France will take some beating if they're able to improve on these performances.
Demo ended up that game 4-1 victory for France.
First of all, let me just say special mention to Olivier Giroud. Like, listen, boss, when you want to talk to me about a striker, brother, don't come to you no Haaland and them nowadays, brother. Give me Olivier Giroud every day and twice on Sunday. Brother, I me just rate Giroud from so long ago. Two massive goals to get him tied with Thierry Henry as France's leading goal scorer, and like a ridiculous feat, especially thinking that he didn't even score one the last World Cup already, two this World Cup. So big up Giroud. Um, I know people are saying that they were worried when Australia scored a wonder goal, by the way. And I
Yeah,
know
long
I
ago.
mentioned I mentioned that you can take off Lucas Coutinho. Like, boss, the man rings him out of him shoes. Like, the man twists him. I don't know. I don't tell him the same trip or whatever. That was a nasty play by the player. I don't remember what his name was. Twist him up on a brilliant cross. I know it deflected off Rabiot, and the finish was, I mean, it looked simple, but it was a good finish to stay over the ball. It was a good goal from Australia. I must say that. And when that went in, I just thought that, and to be fair, I thought that France actually started the game well, because from minute one or two, um, Dembele was on that fullback straight away, and Mbappe on the other side they were just doing tricks and flicks and all of this stuff, and they looked really threatening from the start. So I thought that France just dominated, and their class showed after that goal. I mean, a lot of people don't really rate Rabiot, but he was good in that game as well. I know he got a
Yeah,
goal and an assist, and even before the goal, I thought that he started the game well as well. So big up to France. I thought it was a victory that was, I mean, predicted by many, if not all. And even after they went down a goal, I always saw them coming back. But I just have to big up Giroud, brilliant striker, and I hope that people will give him the appreciation that he
really.
deserves once he passes. Obviously, he's not better than Henry, but once he passes Henry during this World Cup, I hope he gets the appreciation he
We say
deserves.
we say Drew is a clutch player.
Yeah, man, give me Giroud over Haaland and Nunes and all of them new money we're coming right now, but
It's funny though, cause I see Henry as one of the greatest number nines, along with Ronaldo, probably two. So to have Giroud basically equaling his record or probably to overtake it now, it's kind of really really. Football is just a funny game. Ham, you were saying something?
Yeah, but you see the thing about it, when you mention Ronaldo, and I know you're not comparing, none of us are. None
Yeah,
of
no,
us
you're not comparing.
would go down that road. But the thing about it is that it's a it's a testament to hard work, because Giroud is a late bloomer. We know of his story. Came on the scene late. Uh, Fired Montpellier to an unlikely title in Ligue 1 with people like Belhanda and Cabela, people like that Johan Cabai, all of those guys. But the thing about it is that he is someone who, as I mentioned last night, is someone who I think a coach would love to have, in the fact that he doesn't create drama when he doesn't play, because he doesn't play every week, whether at club or if Benzema was available in this form, because people fail to remember that before Benzema had that issue with Valbuena, in 2015, Benzema wasn't the finished article in terms of scoring goals. Yes, brilliant technically, scored your goals, but he was 1 in 3. I think he was 27 goals in about 81 appearances for France at the time of his suspension. Yes, he came back last year and he was banging in the goals for club and country and was unquestionable at that time. No, the number one striker. But I think Giroud, I think he has done very, 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 very well to have passed people like Trezeguet, people like even the same Benzema. I know he has played more games, but we know he isn't as talented as these. But as Demo mentioned, and I see Michelle in the comments, he is a classic number 9 who brings others into play. He holds the ball up, and the thing about it also is that, and I'm not talking about the goals today, but when you look at the catalog of goals that Giroud scores, I would say that he is a scorer of great goals, but not necessarily a great goal scorer because he has scored some wonder goals. Even today, that attempt where the ball was coming over when Hernandez hung it up for him, and the
Yeah,
it
seems like we lost
was
Hamza
wide.
again. Dima, you hear me?
It was wide, but it just shows that he's a player with underrated technical ability because I think for someone of
Yep.
his and his body type, I think he has very, very good touch. He lacks pace. We know he can't run run faster than a snail, but
Yeah.
but within those limitations, to have 51 goals for France, it's a testament to hard work and to no little skill set.
And what a lot of players like about him is also his discipline.
Precisely.
Right, he's a very disciplined player. So that's it for our review for today. But we're going to preview the fixtures for tomorrow, starting with Demo. First game 5 a.m. Won't wake up to watch that game. Will be Morocco versus Croatia. What do you make of that match tomorrow, Demo?
Morocco versus Croatia. No, I mean, people might look on this and just say Croatia, but I'm telling you that this Morocco team is not a team that you should just sleep on.
I agree.
Sure, Croatia has the experience and obviously the old head of Luka Modric, and them have the Kovacic and all the itches they can mention. But listen, I think Morocco is going to be a tough opponent. I'm looking for not necessarily an open game, but a game of like chess or cat and mouse if you want. And I think it will be KG. Who's going to win? Hard to call, but give I'm going to give Croatia the edge just because of experience in that game. I think that they might just edge it because they have, a little bit more experience head in terms of, playmaking in midfield.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Morocco is going to come out tomorrow swinging like how Tunisia did.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's Denmark. They're going to come out swing against Croatia. Ham, what do you make of that game tomorrow morning? Morocco, Croatia.
As I've said, and I'll maintain, Morocco's issue for me won't be the build-up play. I think they will go through the the passing phases. I think they'll get to the edge of the Croatian box. I wouldn't say with ease, but I think they'll get there enough times. But I struggle to see if they will take the chances that I think they have the ability to create. When I look at the players that they have, both fullbacks and attacking. In midfield, I have the vision. Hakim Ziyech restored to the team, of the issues with him and Ali Hadzic. Retired, but he's now back. Question marks about how fit he is because he has been sparingly used by Chelsea this season. Up front, El Nesri doesn't necessarily inspire confidence. I'm still talking about Harit because so the thing is, when a country like France can lose players through injury and they can cushion that blow because they have so much talent. A country like Morocco, when they lose a player of Harit's ability, it is magnified because they don't have the same available
Quality
resources.
in depth, yeah.
But I think they will give the Europeans problems. We are wondering how much is left in those legs. Perisic, Modric, Brazovic, Kovacic, all of them. Lovren at the back. So I think experience you would go with Croatia, but Croatia is also a bit short up front because Ante Rebic wasn't selected this time around, which is quite strange because I figured that once he showed fitness that then he would have been taken. I'm not convinced by Kramaric. Good technical ability, but not necessarily the most prolific at the best of times. So it should be an interesting game. I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends in a draw and both teams can see each other out. But I think Croatia will have their hands full with Morocco. Morocco's Isidore guys, quickly. I don't want them to go gung ho and to, as you see, come out swinging to the point where you're naive because some
Right.
it can be. We saw that in the African Cup of Nations where they were exposed on the counter attack when they played against the Democratic Republic of Congo, where they had so much of the play and they were almost in the half of the opponents, and then they were exposed on the counter attack. So I think they need to, yes, be aggressive, be in the face, take the play to Croatia because they don't have anything to fear from Croatia, but not be naive in the sense that they are caught and then they have to be chased in the game and then they are picked off by the savvy and cunning Modric and the pace and running ability of Perisic. Even at 33 going 34, we know he is a talismanic figure for Croatia.
And sticking with you, a very unpredictable game tomorrow to many persons, while some think it's an easy game. That's Germany versus Japan at 8 a.m. Right? We don't know. Really don't know what the Germans might be coming with. What do you think about that game?
Well, I think to answer that quickly, what Germany will be coming with. Well, the last time we saw them at the FIFA World Cup finals, they were abysmal. They were poor. They were lethargic. They seemed devoid of ideas. They had too many of the same type of players in attack, and Timo Werner was just almost like the proverbial headless chicken. This time around, they have the weapons. Still question marks as to who is best suited to lead the line, but they have youthful presence right in behind. People like Gnabry, yeah, we know he's hot and cold. He's streaky. He scores in bunches. Sane, who is in decent form with a point to prove. There is Musiala, who has been the revelation of the Bundesliga. Revelation in the sense that yes, we knew of his talent, but to see him now basically being almost the torch bearer for the national team at just 19, it's a testament to why there was this big tussle between England and Germany.
Yeah, I wanted him to play for England.
Precisely, because some persons were skeptical because they were saying, yes, he's talented, but is he worth the trouble? But he seems to be a generational talent. So Germany definitely has the weapons, but there are question marks. I think they can be exposed down the sides. Ram is going to be bombing forward. He does his best work going forward. Doesn't like to defend, and I think he can be exposed. Rudiger, we know he likes to also defend from the front, so he likes to get stuck in. So it should be interesting to see how they counter the pace of the Japanese because Japan has weapons. We know
Especially if they play that high line that most persons expecting them to play.
precisely because Hansi Flick is the manager who likes to get on the front foot and to take the game to the opponent. So we expect them to play with a high line, but they cannot be naive because Japan has weapons. Kamada, who plays in the Bundesliga,
Yeah.
we'll know some of these players very, very well. And he is a very, very savvy operator. Plays just off the front man. He may be even leading the line tomorrow. But and they have a lot of weapons. Mitoma, who we see doing this thing at Brighton, with another option, pacey and very, very direct. Likes to get at the fullback. So it should be interesting. I think Germany has the the
The
fever
edge.
tag, and definitely so. But I would not be surprised if Japan gives them trouble. I think Japan definitely cannot concede early doors because if they concede, then they are going to start chasing the game, and then
Yeah.
Germany can play around them. So and the thing about it, guys, quickly, right, to beat that press because Germany is going to press high up the field and all that. Is either you're going to play through the press or you're going to play over, and I think Japan, if they go over the press, I think they have pace to hurt Germany. So it should be fascinating as you mentioned. I think Manuel Neuer, obviously we know he will be eagerly waiting to sweep up when the Japanese try to spring the counter attack by going vertically over the press.
I see German fan Adrian Nicholson saying that Sane is out of the game with knee injury.
Yep. Well, the thing about it is that yes, I was just referring to in terms of who they have available in terms of the squad. Germany is not short of options
Yeah.
because Sane is there, Gnabry is there, Musiala. They can always fit in Thomas Muller, who tends to do most of his best work in a German shirt. Yes, he has almost reshaped his playing style. He's now almost like a playmaker, but he offers another option. There's the youthful exuberance of Mukoko. There's Adeyemi. There's Fulkrug, who many are expecting to lead the line unheralded, but doing the business, scoring prolifically in the Bundesliga. So they have options, even without Sane for this game. I think Germany should start favourites, and I think they should have enough. But they have to be wary of the Japanese on the counter attack.
Dima, what do you make of that game tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah. There's not really much more to say. I think Roman covered most of the things. I guess some of the key players from Japan, obviously Kubo and Takumi Minamino, obviously. These are some of the key players for Japan, but I think Germany just will have too much in terms of quality and edge it out. Like I said, this group is going to be very competitive, and I think that Germany themselves know that it's going to be competitive, and so they would want to lay down a marker and win this game comfortably. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 scoreline. I think they will concede because I just don't trust the German backline. Um, and I think that the pace and youthful exuberance that Japan has might cause some problems for Germany. So I'm going to go 3-1. They will concede, but Germany will have too much up front. I know, as Ron was mentioning, some of the firepower up front. Sure, he's not the best and all of that, but they also have Kai Havertz who seems to come up clutch in some of the big games. So they can always use him.
Goretzka scores goals from midfield. They have so many weapons. On the
Yeah, they
other
have a lot of weapons. They have a deep team, especially in midfield. Eh?
on the other side, it should be interesting to see how Yoshida's body holds up, getting to the end of his rope, the wrong side of 30, paired with Tomiyasu, who tends to do very well when playing for the Blue Samurai. So should be interesting. Even if Japan loses this game, they still won't figure that they are out of the tournament because I think they'll still fancy themselves against Spain.
All right. And sticking with you, Dima, your team Spain versus
Who,
our
who, who?
team Costa Rica.
Yes,
Right. So
sir.
what are you making of that game? Two Spanish teams.
Yeah, so I mean everybody knows my views on Spain and that we won't make it out of the group. But this is the game where they will get their their only 3 points of the group stage. I think that Costa Rica are a very old team. I don't think that they'll have the legs to keep up. And as you can see from my display picture, a lot of youthful exuberance, in the Spanish team right now. Like I said earlier when I was giving my evaluation of the Spain team, there's a lot of upcoming players who's looking to make a name for themselves, or a number of old players who who looking to come to the end of their careers. But I think they'll have enough for Costa Rica. I think we played against, is it Jordan or is Jordan or Georgia? One of them the other day. We played before we're coming to this game and we won. But we
1-0.
conceded to, no man, not one, a 1-0. No man. They
Okay.
score, I think it was 3-1 or 4-1.
Yeah.
Nico Williams got a goal in the game
I
as
probably
well.
think it
But
was
to
Germany.
concede,
1-0. Yeah. Content.
no man, we Jordan or Georgia. I
No,
don't
I think it
remember
was
the
the
exact.
Germany game over Oman that was 1-0. I know one of
Oh,
those
oh,
games
oh.
were 1-0, but I'm not sure.
No man, we played them recently last week. Um, so I mean, Nico Williams, he got on the score sheet. I'm not expecting all of that stuff to happen, but I think we'll get the better of Costa Rica. I think we'll just have enough quality to get over the line. So I'm going to go for 3-0 victory over Costa Rica. We'll get our first 3 points, and that will be our only 3 points throughout this group.
Mr. Ham, what you made of that match, Spain versus Costa Rica?
Agree with Dino's assessment, especially when it comes on to Costa Rica. They are old. They have a few young players. We spoke about them already, Josh, and Benny and Contreras. I think the manager will be best served by using these alongside Joel Campbell in attack. But you expect Celso Borges once he pulls up fit along with Brian Ruiz. Even though he's 36 and he's not able to run to play, I think Navas will have to have one of those superhuman performances to keep the Spanish at bay because I expect Spain to dominate position to have lots and lots of the ball, but Spain still a question mark, cutting edge. They have possession, but many times that position is sterile. They make a lot of lateral passes and they are not incisive enough in the final third. So should be interesting to see because Costa Rica, I think they will take confidence the longer the game remains nil all or remains close that they can get a result because Spain they tend to panic in games at this nature because when their passing doesn't click and it's not with the right tempo, it can be easily defended because you just drop in a low block and then they don't really have much pace in that team. Yes, Dima mentioned Nico Williams. I think that's exactly why he was brought. And Dima and I have spoken about this a few times because I know he's an avid Spanish supporter. And we totally agree that players who were in form, whether in Spain or elsewhere, were overlooked. We know of the usuals, but I'm looking at people like Borja Iglesias, people like Joselu.
Yep.
Yes, they aren't the biggest names. They don't jump off the paper at you or off the screen at you, but they have been doing very well. Iago Aspas. Yes, we know last time around he was the one who missed the penalty, but he has done so well at Celta Vigo. We know he flopped
Mhm.
at, but has been doing so well at Celta Vigo for so long. I think that he could have really made this squad instead of some of these players who were taken. But nonetheless, as we always say, Spain has enough quality, regardless of those players who weren't taken to win a game of this nature. So that's no excuse. They should put Costa Rica to the sword. So I expect them to win. And I expect them to win probably by two clear goals. Because they aren't necessarily a team that scored a lot of goals. No, the aberration was when they put six past Germany, but that's an anomaly. That's not the norm with this Spanish team. They are normally goal shy. So I don't see them scoring a bucket load of goals, and I expect Costa Rica to defend a large.
Resolutely. And stick with
Yeah,
you,
but
yeah.
hold on there, Josh. But that, I mean, like Ruan is saying, that's the exact reason why I'm picking them not to come out the group, because them better dump up Costa Rica, because I am sure Japan will, and it will come down to the goals scored and the goal difference to see who make it out of the ground, because out of the group, because them and Japan going to be on the same number of points, so they better score a lot of goals tomorrow if they want to come out.
Yeah, and as yeah, they are normally go shy for real. I remember when they won the World Cup in 2010. Yeah, they really did
Six
score a lot
goals
of.
all competition.
Yeah,
Six
they did
goals.
score almost, but they dominate the ball. I think once they think that they have control of a game, they just tend to just pass around.
Yeah.
But that's their style still. Sticking with the Belgium, the last game of the versus another CONCACAF team, Canada.
uh, Canada Canada won so many supporters with how they played as a team during qualifying. They were the most consistent team throughout CONCACAF qualifying. They were good from I dare say match day one almost throughout the entirety of the campaign. Yes, their form tapered off as they got close to the end, because one at a time we were thinking that they probably could have gone through qualifying undefeated. So was their form early doors. When you look at the team, they have a lot of good pieces. Obviously, Alphonso Davis is the torchbearer. Jonathan David, who I think is wasting his time at Lille. I think he needs to move, and he needs to move now. Well, when I say no, at least by the summer transfer window. Can't see him staying at Lille for one more season after this one. Tejan Buchanan, he plays his club football in Belgium for Club Brugge. He's another important member. Larin, who was the leading scorer through CONCACAF qualifying, he has been scoring the goals in Turkey. He's very, very prolific. I think they will pose a threat, but you expect the quality of this aging uh, crop of Belgians. Yes, especially aging at the back, because you look at the back, you see Vertonghen, Alderweireld still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Um, yes, I think Debast definitely needs to play, because he offers mobility in the back line. They have that big issue of who play, because Martinez likes to play this back three, guys. So and in a back three system, wing backs are very, very important. And when you look on the left hand side, he's going to have either a Yannick Ferreira Carrasco, or dare I say probably Leandro Trossard, who we know doesn't like to play there. He prefers to play closer to the front man, where he can influence the play closer to the opponent's goal. So it should be interesting to see the personnel that Martinez puts out on the field. And there are so many question marks around the form and fitness of Hazard and
Yeah.
Lukaku. We know that De Bruyne enters this tournament in probably the best shape that he has entered a major tournament in since becoming this superstar, because he was very good in 2014, but yet still he was still a young talent on the books at Chelsea. But now he is playing at a top level week in, week out. So I think his form will basically be the determining factor, because I think he will take Belgium as far as they can go. Because when you look at the other options, they aren't necessarily filling you with confidence. Batshuayi is the backup centre forward.
But try.
Openda is decent, but limited. Lukaku, we know, prolific, but has looked a shadow of himself since returning to Italy. Plagued with injuries. We don't know how well he will be in terms of match fitness come tomorrow. So should be interesting. I think Canada will take heart from what some of the minnows or the lesser fancy teams have done so far, and they will probably take this as one of those games that it's almost like a no lose situation. It's almost like a free hit, because Belgium would be expected to beat them 9 times out of 10. So I think they will be confident, and they have weapons that can definitely hurt the Belgians tomorrow.
As I mentioned, Kelly, I remember regular over the years. I remember one time when Jamaica always beat Canada. But here is
But
Canada today.
is
Jamaica used to beat Canada regular, but Canada is in the World Cup. We're not. Demo.
Yeah, and here comes my biggest upset of the tournament. Well, I mean, if you want to look at it that way after what happened. I think that I was watching a Canadian stream for the games today, and they were saying, the coach said that Lukaku should be out for tomorrow. So if he is out, that makes it even worse. So for me, I think that this Canada team are really being slept on by a lot of people. Obviously, not Ruan, because he knows of their quality and what they've been doing and how great they were to qualify for this with the USA and Mexico and all of these people, and they were almost perfect. I mean, I think they're very young and vibrant, and they're very direct. And I think with that aging squad, like Ron mentioned, I think that backline is going to be in for a warm time against this Canadian team. I'm actually going for a Canada win in this
Mm,
game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I'm going for a 3-2 victory to the Canadians. That's my big upset. I
good
mean,
one.
apart from I never expect today with Saudi Arabia, obviously, but yeah, this is gonna be one of those upsets that's going to cause major shockwaves, because a lot of people are saying, this is, the final chance for the golden generation. Well, this is an old generation of Belgium
Yeah.
players, and I don't think they'll have enough to keep this Canadian team out. So I'm going 3-2 to Canada.
What about Chassard though? Do you guys expect him to start? Any of you guys?
I definitely would start him. As a matter
Yeah,
of fact,
because he's in form, the form of his
he
life.
form. He's 27. He well, last time we saw him, he was fit. We can't say the same thing about about Hazard.
I'm
Um,
sorry.
but definitely, if you were picking them on just pure form and not reputation, Trossard would be one of the first names in attack because there are question marks around all the others. As you mentioned, Trossard, I was just going to mention quickly some of the options that they have. I spoke about Openda. He has been prolific, but he is a tad limited. Batshuayi, we all know, seems to always make,
As well.
but it's more down to Belgium not having a lot in terms of resources because since his days in France and before he made that big move to Chelsea, he has flattered to deceive at a host of clubs because he has played at so many clubs. 6 months here, a year there, and just not living up to the huge billing. But Charles de Ketelaere, um, big talent, seen as the future of Belgian attacking along with Jeremy Doku. I think those are exciting options. Doku has been plagued with injuries, but at the European Championships last year, he was basically the go-to man. All the ball that Belgium had, they were just giving it to him and just allowing him to express himself because he's so direct. 1v1, on his day, he's uncontainable, but has struggled to remain fit in France, and I'm not sure how fit he is in terms of being able to affect the play if he's called on tomorrow. But he's an option that they definitely have. Spoke about Carrasco, who is another one who has underperformed at this level. So they have talent. Tielemans in midfield
Yeah, they have
gives
a lot of them.
them craft and guile. So they have pieces, but you figure that as Dima mentioned, they have a soft center at the back that can be exposed, and down the sides, on both flanks, the wing backs, there are question marks as well. So I think the running ability of Davis and Tijan Buchanan from out wide, and then Larin and obviously Jonathan David, I think they will fancy themselves against the Belgian defense.
And as I mentioned earlier on, Openda, right? He seems to be a very good talent. And the thing
Yep.
is, he's playing for Law, who is second in League One behind
Second,
PSG.
they have been doing very, very well.
Yeah, they have been doing very well. So other persons don't know about him, but
Because
Law is right up there behind PSG in League One.
and
And
every
he's
time
also-
they have played PSG in the last 3 or 4 times, they have given PSG a lot of trouble because they are physical. They have their captain. I know he isn't at the World Cup because he played for Ivory Coast. Seydou Fofana, Sekou Fofana. He is another player that I think is wasting away in League One. I think he can definitely cut it in the Premier League. I think the Premier League is suited for him. But Openda has scored goals for Lens, and Lens guys was always seen as almost like a feeder club to bigger clubs in League One and to Europe, because that's where Man U got Rafael Varane. Well, Real Madrid got him from there, and then Man U got him from Real Madrid. But Rafael Varane is a product from Lens, and they have always produced talent. But no, they're keeping this talent, and you have seen it. They're second up ahead of teams like Monaco, Marseille, Lyon, teams that you would consider to be to have bigger budgets
yeah.
and to have better squads. So I think Openda has been a very, very big factor, and I think I would not be surprised if he gets the nod instead of Batshuayi tomorrow.
Yeah, based on his form, yeah, I think I would not be surprised. He has 7 goals in League One this season in
And the
just
thing about
15 games. So a goal basically every 2 games.
And it's not just about the goals. And you look at how he plays, he brings others into play. He affects the whole way how, and then he's able to play up front on his own, or he can play with a partner. So it's not just the goals. Yes, the 7 goals have been crucial, and they have been instrumental in Lens being second. But just his general play, I've been very, very impressed with him.
All right, guys. So that's it for our preview of the fixtures tomorrow. Final minute, Dima probably want to talk about schoolboy football with Mona JP.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I actually just want to say shout out to Jamaica College. They defeated my alma mater today in what was a pretty comfortable victory in the end. Obviously, this was Mona's first time here. JC been there, done that, and you could tell. I mean, the quality showed. They were all over Mona. Mona's defense is shambolic. They just don't defend. They play like two at the back or some madness like that. Craig Butler's domino six formation. Um, so I mean, JC completely outclassed them. And then the follow up to that game, what a game that was between Stats and Kingston College. That was a brilliant advert for schoolboy football. Some wonderful goals. Listen, hard luck to KC, but I thought Stats were the better team in that game. It was brilliant. And I just want to say, like, it's a big shout out to what's happening in Jamaica and the talent of the schoolboys now and the product that schoolboy football has become in terms of the coverage worldwide and us being able to see it. I think it's just major for what's happening in Jamaica right now. So big up to schoolboy football, big up to the team, um, big up to Whisper. I think he got 25 goals already this season. And listen, he's flying. So tough luck KC, tough luck Mona. But it was a great ride to see them. So we're looking forward to see the finals between JC and Stats, and I'm obviously supporting Stats because
Yes, the
JC are my
Northern.
rivals from high school. So
Right
so let's
across
go
the road.
Stats.
Yeah, man, and big up to JFF President Michael Ricketts for his development plan. See? Your final minute, Ham.
Yes, I totally agree with what Dimo just said in terms of the semifinals. I was able to watch most of it, and I think JC has a little bit more going for them, but I'll be rooting for Stats because I think they have been consistent. They have gotten to the last hurdle and they have come up just short on a couple of occasions. And I think I'm hoping that for their sake, because I'm obviously neutral here, but as a neutral, that it will be third time lucky because I think they have paid their dues, and it's a testament to the quality of the program that they have there. That they have been churning out good teams for quite some time. So very very hard luck on KC because I think KC's team was not necessarily as good as people were making them out to be, but I think when you have a player that ilk, then you're obviously going to win more than you're going to lose. But when you come up against a team that is well drilled and Stats, they are just well drilled and they have very good players. I think Satchel is one to definitely keep an eye on. People have
That's
been
the
talking.
number seven. That's the number seven run.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
number seven, yeah.
Bro,
They scored
that
three
that
brilliant goals.
yo,
Yeah, they,
him the normal boss. Satchel. May I go look out for him.
yep. I think they have really really good players. So I think it should be a very very good game with them and Jamaica College. Expect Jamaica College to start favorites because based on the squad that they have. But I would be quite happy if Stats was able to pull one over.
and their coach don't get a lot of credit either. Philip Williams. He seems to be one of those very, very underrated coaches, but he's actually good based on the fact that generally he overachieves with them according to what most people are predicting at the beginning
I
of
think this
each
is like
season.
his fourth semifinals or fifth
Yeah,
semifinals
yeah,
with
he's
this team.
always going. He's always there in the mix, right? Even when other teams have superior players to them, he's
I
always in the
remember
mix.
they knocked out Manchester when they were the
Yeah, knockouts.
favorites a couple years back.
They are well drilled. That is the thing with them. They're always well drilled. So big up once again, guys. Big up Demo. Big up Ham. Big up our commenters.
Yeah.
We'll be here around 9 p.m. tomorrow again for a review and a preview show. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and I'll leave you with our sponsor, Let's Care Medical. Ad. So see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m.